So today we are looking at a Corgi original omnibus, yet another new Routemaster. So this has attracted quite a lot of controversy, which I'll talk about in a minute, from different collectors who are getting annoyed at the same buses being released over and over again. However, it also attracts a lot of positive attention, and it's clearly working for them, being able to release the same models over and over again. We'll take a look at it, and we'll take a look at the model, and it should be interesting. So I'm looking at the model out of its card, and quite frankly, it looks absolutely fantastic. It really is quite a different model. We've not seen many like this with this all-around livery. I haven't even seen the real vehicle, but this looks fantastic. It really is quite striking. I'm going to talk about the livery in a second when it's out of the box, but I'm really impressed so far with this model. So here is the model, and as I was saying earlier, it really does look absolutely fantastic. I haven't done any research on what Kraken is. I think it's a drink, but I'm not sure. But I know that the livery looks absolutely fantastic, which is frankly all I care about. The blinds, as usual, look quite nice. I've always liked the new Routemaster blinds, the way they are. They look like they are inside the vehicle, and they are not just a sticker over the top, because they are. And the lights, as usual, are well molded. Quite frankly, nothing negative to say so far. As I said, it looks really cracking. Certainly would be a really nice... I can imagine this looking really nice amongst a full collection of Routemasters. I haven't done this because I've kind of been on and off with my collection of new Routemasters, but I can imagine a full collection of new Routemasters on a display shelf would look really amazing. So on the rear, as you can expect, because it has to be slightly more sloppy because it's a vinyl, so you can see they are just standard lights, they're not etched or anything, but the LTZ logo, LTZ number plate, sorry, is absolutely correct. So this all looks really good, and I really like the way they've applied this. They haven't really cut any corners, or at least as far as I can see. Perhaps the only issue I can see at the top slightly, again, you've got to be careful with this because I'm not too sure, but I can see some ever so slight marking, it appears to be. However, I'm not too sure of this, so don't take my word on this. It's possible that it's not, but it looks ever so slightly like it's marking, so you will have to obviously be delicate with this model, or it appears. So speaking of Corgi, I was saying earlier, there's basically a lot of controversy, or controversy, however you pronounce it. Basically, in the past 5 years or so, Corgi have kind of been heavily criticised by the model collectors, or at least from what I see and hear and what people tell me and how people talk to me. A lot of people bash Corgi over the head. They basically say their releases are too boring for starters, so they don't really explore anywhere new. They basically say that the same castings are being released over and over and over again, which is true. And they basically say that the buses they're releasing are not representative of the real vehicles. And there are a couple of things to say on that. Number one, it may for a Corgi, I actually was agreeing with a lot of these people. I actually do agree from a model collector's point of view. Apart from this is obviously a really cool model, but a lot of them, at least from what I've been finding, are kind of very samey. However, when you think about it, if Corgi are going to make a model that they have to release, let's say they have to sell 3,000 of them, they really have to ensure they're going to be able to sell 3,000. Now, I'll leave that up to you to decide whether you think you could sell 3,000 of an obscure model. But when they release models like the Pride model and Brighton and Hove, and even models like this, they're kind of looking at a specific market. And I think that is part of the reason behind it. I don't know, I'll let you guys say in the comments, do you feel Corgi are releasing too many of these new Routemasters, or do you find it fun? All I can say from a free market point of view is everybody does have the choice not to buy it. I, for absolutely sure, am adding this model to my collection, and already have. Probably will buy a second of the other destination. I really like it. But I don't know, do you feel that these models are kind of being released too many times? Clearly it's working for Corgi if they're selling this many. And perhaps the biggest appeal of the new Routemaster is the fact that it's like an international icon. People think, when they think of London, or when they visit London, they want to bring home a new Routemaster. So I don't know, that's just something to think about. I'm not trying to be opinionated at all, but looking at the other side of the model, one thing I do notice that, actually I'm not too sure on this, but I'm aware that that 38 is just a vinyl. I'm not sure if it's ever been an actual blind box. I know on some of Northcords they do, some they don't, like ALX 400 versus E400, for example. So just a few points there. So looking at the model's finer details, obviously, as I was saying earlier, the lights are really impeccable. They look really nice. They're really clearly etched. So big point on that one. The blinds look good. I can show you to the side. You can see they are clearly indented inwards. Can't say the same with the side blind, but we'll forgive them for that because of the vinyl. Obviously, if this was released today, this would have all the, what do they call it? Only 20 or only 30 passengers allowed on board. But obviously it's released before that, if you can remember a time like that, when people were allowed to board the buses as normal. On the rear, this is one of the closed door variations, so they decided to make it like that. Obviously, some of them are, some of them aren't. I'm not sure how they decide amongst those. Perhaps it's to do with the route. I actually barely ever see, in fact, I don't see any Routemasters with the rear door open on the 38 for some reason, but I think they stopped that maybe because you can imagine it's quite costly having a conductor at the back. Kraken, hang on, what am I talking about? I think they stopped using that third door. I think because they stopped using the third door just before COVID-19, it's kind of made me forget everything. But yeah, I think they stopped using that rear third door. So yeah. Anyway, so the model obviously looks really good. You can guess what I'm going to say about this model, but I think it's really fantastic. And the other point to make is I picked this up for 30 quid. I'm not sure, maybe it retailed for slightly higher, but I know from my usual retailer I picked it up for 30 quid. That's considerably cheaper than some of Nordcord models, which I already think are a good price considering we're getting a whole new casting. So certainly I think this is quite a difficult model to bash. I think it's really good, quite frankly, and I definitely recommend buying it. So that was the review of the Corgi new Routemaster. Obviously, very high praise from me. It's not going to get such high praise from someone who doesn't live in London or doesn't like London buses, and that's fair enough. A few points to pick, like minor points, obviously will be the side blind and the rear lights, but these are things that are really, they're quite difficult. Perhaps you could argue that the interior should be more detailed. I noticed a lot of the interior is just red compared to Northcord, where I haven't got one to pick right now out of my stack, but I know a lot of Northcords I kind of have different colours for steering wheels and so on, but the model is coming at a cheap price, so I think you can justify certain things like that, and all the important details are there for me at least. So thanks very much for watching this video. Please feel free to leave your opinion in the comments. Feel free to say what you think of Corgi's latest releases, and also what you potentially like to see from Corgi. It's a shame. I think nobody has been given any licensing to model Wright Gemini 3s, so I don't think we'll ever see them. However, any other models, perhaps, it would be interesting to hear. Anyway, thanks very much once again for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.